Now we'll study about magnetism. So before we go to magnetism, we'll know about the magnetic about the magnetic points, what they represent. So basically we have two poles of a magnet, north pole and south pole. Also we have geometric length and magnetic length. Geometric length is nothing but the length of the entire magnet, and the magnetic length is nothing but the length between the two poles of the magnet, that is from the north pole to the south pole. The length will be the magnetic length. Also we have equator. Equator is the line which passes through the center of the magnet, perpendicular to it, through the axis. Now we have axis, which is nothing but a line passing through both the poles of the magnet. It is called as the axis. And equator is the line which is passing perpendicular to the axis but through the center of the magnet. Okay, now magnetic length is given by 2L. It is 2L because half the length is L and half the length is L, so it becomes 2L, which is equals to 5/6 times the geometric length. It's a formula. Magnetic length 2L is equals to 5/6 of the 5/6 times of the geometric length. Now we have magnetic induction. Magnetic induction, as we discussed earlier in the magnetic effect of electric current, it is the magnetic field at a particular point. The strength of the magnetic field at a particular point is called as the magnetic induction. It is nothing but magnetic flux per unit area. Now magnetic flux is nothing but the amount of magnetic lines of forces which are passing through the area, that will be the magnetic flux. It is given by psi upon area. So that is the SI unit of it is Weber per meter square, or magnetic induction B can again be defined as Tesla. Here we'll be dealing with the magnetic dipole, magnets equivalence between the magnetic dipole and the current carrying coil. Okay, there are two steps. There are two things which we have here. Is one is the magnet, and when one is a coil, one is a conductor which is coiled with, which is surrounded with some coil. And we have a current passing through that coil, and because of the current which is passing, we have a magnetic field created around the coil. And here also it's a magnet, so we will be basically getting a magnetic field. So we'll compare both the magnetic fields produced by both of them. Here for a current carrying coil as well as the magnet dipole, it produces the magnetic fields around them. Both of them, they produce the magnetic field. Also the lines of the magnetic field of both of them are same and similar to both. They are same. Also they have both the poles, north and the south pole. And also here the current, also when the current is passed through this coil, it also produces north and the south pole. But when the current is reversed, when the current direction is the clockwise direction, one becomes north and other becomes south. When it is reversed, one becomes south and the other becomes north. Okay, now also the torque which both of them will experience when both of them are kept in an external magnetic field. Okay, suppose this magnet is kept in an external magnetic field, that is somewhat this magnetic field, and there is a magnet kept over here, okay, with the north and south. So the magnet will rotate with some amount of torque. A force will act over here also, force will act over back from the backward direction also. So that torque tau is given over here by mb sine theta. M will be a magnetic dipole moment, B will be your field of the magnetic field strength, and sine theta will be the angle which the magnet will make with respect to the magnetic field. Okay, this is for the magnet. What if instead of the magnet we have a coil, current carrying coil? So for that the tau depends on number of turns of the coil. It also depends on how much amount of current we are giving, and also the area and B sine theta and the magnetic field. Okay, so it depends on 3-4 factors: the number of turns, the current which we are providing, also the area and the magnetic field B. Okay, and also the angle which it is making. So the torque differs. Also now, what if suppose we are finding the magnetic field, we are finding the magnitude of magnetic induction at a point which is along the axis for both of them. Suppose I have a point P out here or a point P out here which is along the axis for both of them. So we will be finding a magnetic induction at that particular point for a simple magnet and for a current carrying coil. So for a simple magnet we get the formula B axis equals to mu naught upon 4 pi 2m upon r cube, and for a current carrying coil it depends on mu naught upon 4 pi 2m, that is the number of turns, I also, and the area. It depends on the area upon r cube. So this is the difference between the magnetic inductions. Okay, next after comparing both of them, we have one more thing to compare, that is equivalence between the magnetic solenoid and the magnetic dipole moment. Basically the solenoid also behaves as a bar magnet. Solenoid is nothing but it's an arrangement of a long insulated wire which is wound in a helix. So if we have a certain point P along the axis, then that point the magnetic induction at that point P will be given by B, which is equals to mu naught 4 pi Nia upon R cube, where N will be your total number of turns of the coilings and A will be your area of the cross sections of the coil, and I will be your current. So that will be a magnetic induction at a particular point. So we have three things to compare. One is a magnet, a simple magnet, one is a current carrying coil, and another is a solenoid. So here the magnetic field lines of forces are same. Here also we get magnetic lines of forces. Here also we get magnetic lines of forces. Here, when it is kept in a external magnetic field, we have a torque which is equals to mb sin theta. Here the torque depends on the number of turns, the current, the area of cross section, and the magnetic field. Next, the magnetic field when along the axis for both of them, for the three of them, is given by this formula: mu naught 4 pi 2m upon r cube for the magnet, mu naught upon 4 pi 2n I upon a square for. Now, the torque acting on a magnet in a uniform magnetic induction. This is the magnet, basically with the north and the south poles. It is kept in a magnetic induction, it is kept in a magnetic field. So the torque which will move the magnet, will rotate the magnet, will be acting on both the direction, on both the poles, that is in the north in the forward direction and the south in the backward direction. This force will pull it towards each other. Okay, that will cause the magnet to move. So the torque acting on that magnet will be magnitude of one of the forces, either this force or this force, one of the forces. The torque acts, whenever the torque acts, the two forces which are acting should be equal and opposite. So magnitude of one of the forces multiplied by the perpendicular distances between the two forces. So between the two forces, the perpendicular distance, we have to make a perpendicular, and we reach at point P where we can get a perpendicular distance between those two. We can take NP as the perpendicular distance. Magnitude of one of the force, I have taken the force MB and the torque tau. Okay, but in triangle NSP we have that sine of this angle theta will give NP upon the length of this, upon the twice of this length, that is 2L, that is NP upon 2L, where NP is equals to 2L sin theta. So we substitute the NP over here, we get NB 2L sin theta. So MB is MB into 2L sin theta. We get the magnetic moment M, capital M, is equals to small m into 2L. That is, the magnetic moment is given as the product of the pole strength and its magnetic length. Okay, that capital M is the magnetic moment which is given by the pole strength into the magnetic length, that is 2L. So that, substituting that, we get tau is equals to mb sin theta, where sin theta will be the angle by which it rotates. That will be the torque acting on the magnet when it is kept in a uniform magnetic induction. We will find the magnetic induction at a point along the axis of a bar magnet. So we have a bar magnet over here with the north and the south pole, and along the axis we have a point P. We need to find the equation for the magnetic induction at that particular point. So for that, basically we'll calculate the distances. The magnetic length will be L and L, that will be 2L. So from O to N it will be L, and O to S it will be L. So the point P is kept at a distance R from the origin, from the center O. So OS, your OS will become R plus L, OS and ON both will become L. Your NP, which this distance will be R minus L, and your SP will be R plus L. Okay, so the magnetic induction, because of the end point, because the magnetic induction at this point P will be because of the both forces which are both the magnetic forces by the north pole as well as the south pole. So we will be calculating the magnetic induction, the magnetic field, because of the north as well as the south pole. So because of the north pole it is mu naught 4 pi, because it is in the north pole it will be plus m, this will be minus m, so m np square, and due to the south pole it will be mu naught upon 4 pi minus m sp square. Okay, since the magnetic field of the north pole will be greater, on magnetic effect of the north pole will be greater than that of the south pole, but we have the total magnetic induction is equals to B1 minus B2, because B1 is greater. But since the magnetic induction of the magnetic field of S is along the axis, we can calculate the entire magnetic field to be the addition of both the magnetic fields, that is B1 plus B2. So V1 we do Bx is equals to B1 plus B2, which is equals to mu naught upon 4 pi. I have kept the mm constant outside, and inside we get 1 upon R minus L plus 1 upon r plus l, where r minus n and r plus l are the distances. L, np and sp. I have substituted the distances, the values. Okay, so r minus l square and r minus l square and r plus l square. Okay, so cross multiplying, we come to the value bx is equals to mu naught m 4 pi 2r 2l r square minus l square the whole square. So we have again the magnetic dipole moment, which is equals to the magnetic pole strength into twice of the length. Substituting that values, we get this formula: bx is equals to mu naught upon 4 pi 2m r upon r square minus l square. Okay, but now, so we reached the formula bx is equals to mu naught upon 4 pi m 2r 2l upon r square minus l square upon the whole square, where the magnetic moment we get 2lm. So we substitute the capital M over here and we get this formula. So for the shorter magnetic dipole, if the dipole is shorter, that is the length is very much greater than L. Okay, this r is very much greater than this L, then we can have this r square minus l square, the entire to be equals to r square. So that after substituting we get equals to mu naught upon 4 pi 2m upon r cube. That is for a shorter dipole if the distance is much greater than the dipole. Magnetic induction at a point along the equator of a bar magnet. So basically we have a magnet with length magnetic dipole moments. So this is your south direction, this will be your north. So we have the lengths L, the magnetic length of them. Then we have a P, which is the distance r from the center, from the equator. Okay, so at this point P, the south pole will have the same magnetic effect as that of the north pole. Okay, so the distances are the same. So the magnetic induction at this point, the magnetic field induction at this point P, we will be resolved into two components, two mutually perpendicular components, one over this and one like this. Okay, so there is a parallelogram which is forming like this pattern. So it is P, Q, R and S. Okay, so there is a cos theta for the magnetic fields B1, induction B1 and B2. So cos theta along B1 and B2 will get added, and the sin theta will be resolved in balancing both of the terms. Okay, so we will be dealing with the cos thetas of them. So from the south pole, the B1 will, from the north pole, suppose this B1 and this is B2. From the north pole, the magnetic induction will be mu naught upon 4 pi plus m upon np square, and from the south pole it is mu naught upon 4 pi minus m upon sp square. Okay, where your np and your sp, both of the values you are getting to be r square plus l square. Okay, that is using Pythagoras. So r square plus l square. So the equation, the entire magnetic field equation becomes B1 cos theta, as cos theta gets added up to find the entire magnetic field. So B1 cos theta and B2 cos theta. So B1 and B2 both are having the same strength. So you can take, instead of B1 you can take B2, or instead of B2 you can take B1. So that becomes 2 B1 cos theta. So B1, your value for B1 is mu naught upon 4 pi m np square cos theta. Okay, but your cos of theta is nothing but L upon np square. So in this is the magnetic induction at a point along the equator of a bar magnet. So we have a bar magnet over here. We have the south and the north pole of the bar magnet separated by the magnetic length L and L. Okay, so we have a point P out here. We need to find the magnetic induction at this point P because of the bar magnet. So the magnetic induction which will be there at this point P will be divided, the entire magnetic induction, the entire magnetic field, it is resolved into two components, two perpendicular components. So it is B sin theta, B1 B2 sin and cos theta, and B1 B2 sin and cos B1 sin cos theta and B2 sin and cos theta. Okay, the cos thetas will be added up to find the entire magnetic field, whereas the sin thetas are used to balance the magnetic field. Whereas the sin thetas, they will be used to balance the magnetic field. Okay, so the B1, that is the magnetic field from the north pole, will be mu naught upon 4 pi plus m np square. B2 will be mu naught upon 4 pi minus m sp square, where np and sp, by Pythagoras you get r square plus l square in the triangle. They are making, from this, for the point P, they are making an angle theta with the along the axis. So here it is your theta. So both the poles will be applying the same strength, so it is B1 equals to B2. So you can take B1 instead of B2 or B2 instead of B1. You get 2B1 cos theta. Now your B1 value, substitute your B1 value over here, mu naught upon 4 pi m np square. Now your cos theta is equals to the cos of this theta, that is equals to adjacent upon hypotenuse, that is L upon np, that is L upon np. So L upon np, value for np is r square plus L square, so you get it under root r square plus L square. Substitute the values. After substituting, you get the B equator, the magnetic induction to be mu naught upon 4 pi m 2L m into 2L r square plus L square raised to 3 by 2. Okay, this m into 2L will be a magnetic moment, capital M, that is you have to just substitute the capital M over here, then r square plus L square raised to 3 by 2. The value for this is r cube, so substituting the values you get the magnetic induction to be mu naught upon 4 pi m upon r cube. The minus sign indicates that the opposite to the negative sign indicates that the direction of this magnetic induction is opposite to the magnetic moment. Okay.